Well, it's Sunday afternoon here at Amelia Island. It has been truly an honor and a pleasure to have the Foose collection here. And I want to thank all of the owners of each of the cars and for the Peterson Museum to bring 0032. It has been truly an experience. This is a great show, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to be here with everybody. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about that car.
That car's older than me. It's a 32 Ford is what we call it on the title, but that is a completely hand-built steel body. And that is a car that I built when I was working with Boyd Coddington. We did the Boydster 1, which was a red fenderless roadster, and then that was called the Boydster. And I did another sketch of this car with the full fenders, and I was gonna build this car for myself, and it was gonna be called the Chipster originally.
The Chipster.
Because we did the Boydster, this was gonna be the Chipster. And I had done all the sketches. Now, all of those cars that I built at Hot Rods by Boyd, the body work was all done by Marcel DeLay, his son Luke DeLay, and Mark DeLay. Luke is here this weekend with his Marcel Roadster, the all aluminum concept car that's sitting over here. But we built the Boydster, then we went out and I was working on this body, and one of our customers at Boyd's named Buzz DeVosta, we had done several cars for him. He had come over and asked me about my Boydster that I was starting. And I showed him the drawings and we talked about it a little bit. And then he left to go meet with Boyd. He left the meeting with Boyd and flew home. And then Boyd came over that afternoon. He came into the shop and he says, "Hey, Buzz wants your Chipster." And I said, "Then let's give it to him. It's a customer and we'll go on with something else." He said, you would trade it? And I said, "Yeah, I want to build the chassis for my Hemisphere," which the Hemisphere was a car that I designed as a senior at Art Center for Chrysler, which became the Prowler. Now, to say that
I ran out and bought one because of that car, so you still owe me.
Well, to say that I designed the Prowler would be a slap in the face to Tom Gale and his team at Chrysler that actually did the car and brought it to production, but I had built the car that was the inspiration for it. So I traded the car to Boyd, and I finished building the body with Marcel's, and then I brought it back to Boyd's shop. Now, Boyd had never seen the car until I rolled it in there in raw metal. And Boyd took one look at it and he says, "Tell Buzz you got to build something else because that's my car." And that's when it became the Boydster 2, and we finished it in yellow with a yellow interior. And we were headed to Grand National Roadster Show, and I said to Boyd, "Tom Gale is coming with a roadster of his own. He's competing to win America's Most Beautiful Roadster." I said, "We should go up. We won it last year with the Boydster. Let's just go up and display only because I don't want to compete against one of our friends." And he agreed. So we showed the car at the Grand National Roadster Show, yellow with the yellow interior, and it was just display only. Well, unfortunately, Boyd's went through some troubling times and it went bankrupt in '98. And a gentleman named Chuck Sfados out of New York ended up purchasing the Boydster 2 when it was yellow with the yellow interior and took the car to New York. He called me later, he says, "Hey, I heard a rumor that this was your car originally." And I said, "Yes, it was." He says, "Is it everything you wanted it to be?" And I said, "Well, it's a great car, but it's not what I was gonna build for myself." He says, "Well, what were you gonna do to it?" I said, "I wanted to do the car black. I wanted to do an American 5-spoke looking wheel, but with a knockoff center. I wanted to do a little bikini type lift off top, and I wanted a distressed baseball glove leather interior in it." He says, "Wow, that sounds really cool." He says, "Would you do that for me on this car?" And I said, "Well, that car's got history now." I said, "Why don't we leave that car alone and I'll build you a new one?" He said, "Well, I'd rather do what you're describing to this car." And I said, "Okay." Gave him a price of what I thought it would run. He sent me the car and we did all the changes to it. And 4 days before I had it all finished, I was sitting in the shop and I thought, "Hey, 4 days from now is the Grand National Roadster Show." So I called Dan Sear, who owned the show, and I said, "Hey, do you have a spot if I want to bring a car up and compete for the Amber Award?" He said, "Yes." So I called my friend Roy Brizio and I said, do you have a car show display that I can use at the Amber Award, at the Grand National Roadster Show? And he says, no, but Steve Mole does. So I called Steve Mole and said, I heard you have a display. He says, yes, I'll sell it to you. I said, okay, I'll buy it. I said, do you have carpet as well? He says, no. So I called Roy Brizio back and I said, do you have carpet? He says, we buy the carpet on our way to the show. I said, can you get me a 20 by 20 kind of an off-white color carpet? He says, yeah, I'll pick it up for you. So all my friends came together, they helped us, we got the car there, and we won the America's Most Beautiful Roadster Award in 2000. We had renamed the car because it was 2000 and it was a 32. I called it the 0032. And the night that the car won, it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. We had put the car away and the display and everything else. And the owner, Chuck Spados, and I went to Denny's for breakfast. And it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and he says, what else are you building? And I said, well, I have the twin to your car, but it's going to be a 3-window coupe. He says, I live in New York. I would much rather have the coupe in New York. He says, why don't you take the Roadster and finish the coupe for me? And I said, well, I've got 2 other cars I've got to finish. It'll be about 5 years before I get that car done. He says, I don't care. And I said, well, just wait, enjoy the Roadster, and when I get the coupe finished, if you want to trade, I'll trade you. The next week, I got the title in the mail, and he says, the Roadster's yours. Do it as you want with it. I get the coupe. So I had just moved to my shop, and we were starting to work on Wes Rydell, who's sitting over here. We were working on his Grand Master in the shop. And the gentleman that I was subleasing the building, my spot from, comes over and he says, hey, the owner of the building just sold it. We got to move out. I had nowhere to go. So I asked him, I said, well, who's the realtor? Who's selling the building? And he tells me the name. I called the realtor, and he says, I asked him, I said, how much did the building sell for? He says, we've got an offer of $265,000 for it. I said, I'll give you $285,000. It got into a bidding war. I ended up getting the building for $465,000. Now, I didn't have 2 dimes to rub together, but I owned that Roadster. So I took it to RM auction up in Monterey. We sold the car for $264,000. I put $100,000 down on the building, got into my building, put $150,000 in an escrow account, and finished the 3-window coupe for Chuck Spados with the rest of the money. And then I had to add my money, but that's the car that we wouldn't have a Foose Design today if it wasn't for Chuck Spados or that car.
Wow. That's a pretty amazing story. You know, help from your friends, hard work, and a plan. Vision always comes together. And that vision started 7 years old, working with your dad.
What is the most touching, heartwarming response you got from any of the people that were overhauled? What is that one story that's going to make all of us cry?
Great question. Because I get asked all the time, what's your favorite episode of overhauling that you built, or what's your favorite car? It's not the car. It's the people that we built for. We built a 69 GTO for a kid named Alex. He was 16 years old when he bought his GTO. He had brought it home. He had started disassembling it, taking it apart because he wanted to restore it. And his buddy came over. He got in the car with his buddy. They took off. They got in a crash, and Alex was very hurt and was paralyzed. So he was going through rehab for a year and a half. He was finally in a wheelchair. He asked his brother if his brother would help him get the car out of the garage so he could start restoring it again. He wanted to put all the controls in it so that he would be able to drive his car again. His brother wrote a letter and sent it in to us. We redid his car and gave it back to him. Now, it wasn't Alex that moved us all so much. He was excited, and it was a great reveal. But when his father came out,
Thank you, Chip.
his father was moved that all of us who didn't know Alex would do this for him. And there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
You're special, man. You're special.
He is. Awesome, buddy.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, first of all, it has been an absolute pleasure to be here at Amelia Island and to bring all of my customers' cars out here, it's truly an honor. And I have to thank everybody from Amelia Island that put this show on, who brought us out here, and thank all of these customers who allowed us to build their dream cars. I couldn't be any prouder, so I want to thank everybody at Foose Design who has helped me through the years to build all of these cars. We are extremely blessed to be able to make a living building other people's dreams and doing what we love. Thank you.